Tonight on Sports for All, we have on the program two-time gold medalist, Southeast Asian Game gold medalist in men's triathlon, Nikko Huelgas, will be joining us, and triathlon coach Jojo Macalintal, who has an interesting and fascinating story to tell us tonight. So let's get it started. Good evening, everyone.
Good
Uh,
evening.
Tonight will be an interesting episode. And with us is Nico Huelgas. Nico, good evening.
Good evening.
And we also have Coach Jojo Macalintal. Coach, magandang gabi sa iyo.
Magandang gabi po.
And my co-host, Brian, the Godfather Yalu.
Yes, good evening to everybody, and we hope you'll enjoy this interesting conversation with Coach Jojo and Nikko tonight.
Okay, so we have my first question to you, Nico, is well, you won the uh, men's triathlon event back to back, no? Which was more difficult to win, the 2015 or the 2017 edition?
I think I'd go with the first one. Parang the first cut is the deepest eh. Kasi this was the first time ever in my life na feel ko yung grabing pressure to win a gold medal. Na dati, whenever I try to chase medals for the country like national championships, kunyari Asian championships, and even World Cups, parang wala, go lang, basta do your best. Eto hindi eh. There was a command eh from the top na say na you need to win gold. Kasi kailangan. Kasi we spend millions on you. So, yung nangyayari, yung pressure eh. Yung pera na ng bayan, yung parang tumutunog eh. So, parang, okay, eto na. So, days before the competition, hindi ako makatulog. As in, 0% sleep. Tossing and turning, nagkaka-anxiety attacks ako. To the point na I almost thought about suicide for like 1%. Parang, fuck, kasi yung feeling na tipong, you just wanna let go of the pain of pressure. Kasi it's going on your mind, tumatanim na sa utak mo yung umiikot na pressure. And gusto mo na lang matapos, ganung feeling. Para it was a form of suffering na hindi mo pwedeng i-share. It's not like training. Pag training, pare, train tayo together. We can share the suffering. Pero to hindi. So, in yung feeling. And yes?
No, go ahead, Nico. Sorry. Go ahead.
So yeah, so it was the toughest for me talaga. In fact, out of all of the competitions, it was the toughest, parang pre-preparation. So, it's a mental game, to tell you the truth. Parang approaching competition, yun na lang talaga mag-differentiate between veterans from first-timers sa mga competitions that they're told to win.
Kasi nag-compete ka before sa UAP pero swimming for Lasal. So kamusta yung transition from swimming? Now I know triathlon also may swimming pero may dagdag na dalawang sports pa. So kamusta yung transition mo before from swimming to triathlon?
It was a lot easy. In fact, it was a blessing in disguise. Kasi no swimming, I wasn't feeling any pressure. Kasi I wasn't talented at all, like 0%. I never had any medals in swimming. Kahit sa UAP. And yet, I always aspired to train with the best. Kaya, I was always the last person to finish. Kahit sa long distance, I never got into top 10. Pero, the way yung development na yon, na-apply ko in triathlon when I joined the fun run. So when I added another sport, running, everything was easy. It was easy to win. Ganun yung feeling. As in, lumalandslide ako sa mga kalaban ko kasi yung talent ko sa swimming napunta sa multisport. Kasi I never had that talent sa swimming. Pero because of the consistent preparations, 2 hours a day of training, parang, kumbaga sa pag-ibig, nahanap mo yung true love mo.
Lalim.
Ayos ah.
Lalim. May hugot.
So,
Okay. Coach, okay, yung pinakahihintay kong kwento because former schoolmate of mine actually referred Coach Jojo to me, no, because he has a fascinating story. So Coach, ano yung kwento na yon?
Oo. Nag-umpisa kasi ako niyan, um, unhealthy lifestyle, sigarilyo, sigarilyo, tapos lahat nandun na. And nahook ako sa drugs. So, yung shabu. Yan. So, 1 year ako nakatake niyan. Hanggang nadala ako sa ospital 2 beses. So, inisip ko, mamamatay ako eh. Sabi ko, ayoko mamatay. Ano yung pwede kong gawin? Hindi ako na marunong magdasal doon eh. Nakakapagdasal ako. Sabi ko, ano ba yung pwede kong gawin? Tulungan niyo ako. Malapit lang ako sa Quezon City Circle. Naglakad ako dyan. May marami ako nakitang runner na nagte-training. So, sumama ako sa kanila. Nag-start ng 5K run. Hanggang sa nagustuhan ko na siya. So, yung sa drugs, nawala. Pati yung sigarilyo ko, nung nag-start ako tumakbo, natanggal ko siya. Hindi naman ako nagparehab. Nandun, tuloy-tuloy na siya. And sabi ko nga, ang totoo palang pagbabago ay nasa iyo. Hindi mo naman kailangan magparehab. Hanggang sa dumating na may nakita ko na triathlon, nanood ako sa isang fan triathlon sa Ateneo. Sabi ko, parang gusto kong mangyari tong napapanood ko sa kanila. Sabi ko, marunong naman akong tumakbo, saka magbisikleta. Kaso yung langoy, hindi ako marunong lumangoy. Nag-start ako mag-join. Ayun, lahat nung pinakahuli, ako yun. Na doon na ako nag-start na kailangan kong pagbutihan to lahat dahil ang sarap ng pakiramdam nung nakafinish ako ng 3 sport. So doon nag-start yon lahat. Yung start ko ng triathlon.
So from that time on, Coach, na-sustain mo siya until ngayong present time.
Yes, from 1995 hanggang ngayon 2021. So hindi ako nag-stop. Saka kaya doon din sa community ng triathlon, nakilala ko din ng mga triathlete and yung mga aspiring dahil hindi ako nawala sa sa visibility ng mga tao. Nandyan lang ako mula noong 1995 at 2021.
Okay, Brian, take it away.
Okay, I'll start with Nico. Nico, I went through your tournaments. There were some there that you were not able to finish on I'm sure DNF did not finish. Could you share us some experiences of these? These were early on in your career. What were these?
My first did not finish was yung World Championships sa New Zealand 2013. I was competing with the future Olympians of our time. And it hurts. Masakit siya yung feeling na hindi ka na hindi mo natapos. And yet you think na parang alam mong kaya, may konting tiis lang eh. Pero later on, with some mentorship along the way, after every competition, it became your source of strength on how to improve. Kasi may gauge ka na between where you stand versus the world-class athletes. So it's a very good exposure to actually fail, just to be there.
So, do you feel that you overexerted yourself during these times na parang you push yourself too much that parang you went overboard with what you could do during those times?
It's more of lack of experience.
Oh, lack of experience. Okay.
I never did not finish na para masama pakiramdam ko. Parang I always try to work around it kasi hindi naman sensitive chan ko eh. And if you just, get the right nutrients, you can survive it. And for me, ang pinakamasaklap lang yung nahimatay ako nung 2014. Tri-United 2, nung long distance. Sugar loss. And parang yung feeling na parang mamamatay ka na talaga kasi you're losing everything na in the mind. And it was humbling experience kasi you feel like a hero when you're about to finish kasi nga feeling na matatapos mo na to, and I won first place. Pero when I was losing my conscience na, parang I was gasping for air na just to survive, sabi ko, it was so stupid. it was a stupid move to risk your life just for a competition. Parang I thought kasi 'di ba, we're very idealistic as young kids kami that time Parang sige, okay lang mamatay akong champion. It's not. It's not. You can be a champion and not die. Yun ang feeling. So parang in the end parang okay. To see it, to believe it na health comes first. You don't always have to win all competitions. Na if you can't win this, para at least you're alive and you can win again next month.
Very nice. Yun yung mga magandang mga story of Vince. Yung explain kasi some people have that misconception na DNF na di magaling. Pero that was well put, Nico. Ang galing ganda yung pag-explain. Tapos wait. Right now we're in this pandemic. Kumbaga, did you have trouble adjusting to how your usual routine is in normal circumstances?
I think lahat naman tayo na nag-suffer sa ganyan right now. And I'm actually one of the most fortunate people who has been through this pandemic. First of all, I get to maintain my sponsors who believed in me pa rin, such as Go for Gold, Gatorade, Summit Water, and Philippine Sports Commission, despite nagkaroon ng budget cut half of the year sa Philippine Sports Commission. But I totally get it. Not once did I said na I demanded for anything. Hindi ako nanumbat because everyone's going through the same pain. And the toughest adjustment for me was, syempre walang competition. And naka-lay down na yung aming mga races for the whole year and travels, training camps. I was supposed to go to Madrid for about 2 months. And those things kasi are something na pinaplanot mo na, pinafunding mo na, pinaglalaban mo na, and then it doesn't happen. So you're 0.0, di ba? But luckily, I always create a backup plan. Then because of the pandemic, I turned it around immediately. Ang bilis ko na nakapag-respond. Una sa lahat, naka-respond ako sa heartbreak ko. Char. Pag-ibig talaga I was able to enter into a foundation that does relief missions sa mga poorest of the poor. And because of that, I saw things differently of how the government works, foundations work, the military works. I was able to let go of my anxiety because I've seen so many people face to face who are suffering from poverty. So lahat ng mga problema ko, naisip ko, my problems are not gonna be that bad because I've seen so many people who suffer them. And just to be there, despite the risk na being you might test positive, sabi ko hindi. This was worth it talaga. So, other than that, I finally got my dream of being able to do scuba diving. Hindi ko magagawa to kung full-time triathlete ako. Kasi tali kami sa commitments with triathlon. And being able to encourage my friends to do cycling. And for me, that was one of my greatest fulfillments. To encourage more people to do biking. Kahit sa village ko lang. Kasi that alone trickles down like social media. It shares it. And we get to share the love for our sport. We tell them that cycling is the number 1 sport in the world. Ipaglalaban ko yan.
Nice. Okay, I'd like to ask Coach Jojo. Coach Jojo, did you have any similar experiences like you weren't able to finish and why or what happened?
Yeah, marami na rin. Minsan kasi sa age, kami naman naglalaban sa age group. So age bracket naman kami. So minsan, kailangan mo rin na hindi umapak sa podium para mas meron kang matutunan. Kasi hindi naman lahat ng panalo mo, isipin mo ikaw na yung pinakamagaling sa age group mo. Meron time na hindi ko natapos yung isang race. Pagdating sa mga trainings, kumpleto naman yung nutrition, training, lahat nung periodization, nagawa ko. Pero nung race day na, sa bike, siguro 50 kilometers na lang sa 180 ng bisikleta, na sumama yung tiyan ko. Sumama na yung sikmura ko. So sabi ko, ano to nangyayari sa akin? Parang hindi naman ako busog na busog, hindi rin naman gutom. So eksakto lang yung nutrition. nailabas ko siya lahat. So, nangyari, sabi ko, eto na sana yung best time ko para matapos ko yung record ko for full Ironman. Hindi ko nagawa. So, pinilit ko pa rin siyang tapusin dahil sinabihan naman ako ng Marshall na kung itutuloy ko, hindi. Sabi ko, give me a chance to finish my race kasi it's 50 kilometers na lang eh. So, I tried ulit na i-bike siya pero hanggang doon na lang talaga. So, I give up. And pagdating ko naman ng transition, hinatid ako ron, sabi ko, ano yung nangyari? So, pinipilit ko naman siyang i-assess kung ano nangyari sa katawan ko. And napakasakit nun kasi I expected mo makukuha mo yung maganda mong oras and meron din sponsor mo na nag-expect sa'yo na maganda yung oras na matatapos mo. Yung time naman na yun, nung race namin, marami akong student, 15 students yung kasama ko dun sa isang race, Australia. Sa Australia kasi nangyari yan. Nung ginawa ko na lang, pinuntahan ko silang lahat, nag-cheer ako sa kanila. Sabi ko, ito pala yung mas magandang may bibigay kong support sa student ko. Hindi naman ako kailangan palang manalo. Ang kailangan is maka-finish ko silang lahat. So nangyari, nagpa-thank you silang lahat sa akin dahil nakita nila ako doon sa finish line na nag-cheer sa kanila. Sabi ko, ang dami palang pwedeng matutunan. So, kumbaga tapos na rin ako doon eh. Tapos na ako sa mga competition, coaching na lang talaga. Pero minsan may ano ka pa rin eh, yung self mo na gusto mong, hindi, kaya ko pa rin to kahit na may edad na, kaya ko pa rin i-push yung 10 years ago, parang isip mo, kaya mo pa rin, ayaw mo pa rin siyang bitawan. So doon na pumasok ngayon yung nagpupursige na ako sa coaching. Magpursige ako sa coaching, pero nandito pa rin ako na nagjo-join ng mga competition. Kasi nga, doon ka makaka-discover ng mga bagong workout. Marami kasing workout eh, may theory, meron sa book, pero iba pa rin yung discover mo at yourself na nagre-race ka. Yung sabi ko nga na hindi mo masasabi sa kanila ano ba yung threshold, ano ba yung pain ng threshold kung hindi mo yun na-experience. Unlike sa ibang coach kasi parang gawin mo to yung threshold, ganito dapat yung gawin mo yung exertion mo. Pero hindi mo naramdaman yun kung ano yung pakiramdam nung exertion na yun. So may mga bagay na dadating sa'yo na kailangan nararamdaman mo yung ibinibigay mo dun sa student mo na training.
Coach, again, the same question I threw to Nikko. What were your toughest adjustments, both as a coach and a triathlete in this pandemic?
This pandemic, being a coach ngayon, parang nahirapan na rin kami dahil wala na rin nag-enroll sa amin ng mga student, so wala na rin bumabalik. So ngayon, naisip ako gumawa ng program para bumalik yung mga student ko dahil ini-invite ko sila na mag-training ulit kami. Nahihiya naman yung sila na umattend ng training dahil hindi naman sila naka-enroll. So ang ginawa ko na lang para sa kanila, magkita-kita tayo, mag-training ulit tayo. Kung gusto nyo, yung enrollment natin is gawin natin annual. Magsibalik lang kayong lahat sa akin. At wag lang kayong mawala kasi sayang yung in-invest natin, yung foundation ng training natin. So hindi natin kailangan pag-usapan kung ano yung enrollment fee. Ang importante is magsibalik kayong lahat kasi sayang yung foundation. So dapat nasa puso natin lahat yung ginagawa natin. Hindi na to kasi pandemic tayo ngayon eh. So kailangan naiintindihan mo yung bawat nararamdaman ng mga tao. Diba?
Alright, thank you, Coach. Back to you, Vince.
Nico, yung sa mga races mo, was there a time na kunwari may instruction sa yung coach mo, tapos during the race, you just went with your gut na lang and went for it, diniskartehan mo na lang, parang screw it, sige, I'm going for it. May times ba na ganon?
Oh, like 90% of the time. So, ang triathlon kasi sobrang unpredictable. Kasi hindi mo alam kung ano mangyayari. Di ba, Coach? And it's all about tactics talaga. And you adjust based on what's happening at that very moment. And we actually do that sa training pa lang. And I was taught to this by my coach about perceived effort. Na let's not do workouts na may time. Let's do workouts with effort. So, let's not, pag binigyan ka ng target time, kasi para napapressure ka na, i-meet yung time. And if you don't meet that time, you get depressed. Affected yung mind mo about the workout. You don't enjoy the workout. So, ginawa natin, kinalipit. Sige, tanggalin yung mga relo nyo. Let's do zone 4 effort. Ganon. Parang, okay, just go hard. Parang as you feel na hard. Pero kung hanggang ganito lang yung hard mo for this day, okay lang. At least hard. And at the end of the workout, you feel happy because you did the workout with the respect that the effort that you give. So, it goes back to the enjoyment of the sport. Tumatanda na ako. Noong una kasi para si Jojo, kailangan mag-champion. Ngayon, enjoy na nga natin yung workout.
Tama.
It gets to a point na mababurn out yung mga athletes. And I've been there so many times na nag-aalis yung ibang triathletes from the sport because hindi na nila na-enjoy. Kasi it's too tough, it's too serious, and it makes you wanna put the fun in the sport again. So, going back, I realized that every single day of a workout, it will always be different because your body is gonna be acting different. And most of the time, 60%, hindi 100% ready yung katawan mo for the workout for the day. Pero nonetheless, we show up for training. Di ba?
Nikko, yung kasi for triathletes, no, since the pandemic started, would you say the past 2 years yung pinaka mentally challenging for triathletes, mentally speaking?
Yes, I'd say that. Kasi it gets to a point na you're preparing for a competition na hindi mo alam kung matutuloy o hindi. So you're putting hope on something that may not happen, which gives the toughest motivation. Kasi wala kang assurance, di ba? Alam mo naman sa atin, gusto natin may assurance lagi.
All right. Coach, yung same question, tinanong kay Miko, may mga estudyante kayo, may kayo mismo, naging ba sa mental health nyo and sa mga estudyante nyo, may napapansin ba kayo na parang nagiging challenging na para sa mga estudyante nyo? And sa sarili mo siguro, Coach.
Oo, ganun din, no? So, nung nasa 1 year na tayo ng home quarantine natin. So, unang-una, nakikita mo na rin yung pagbabago ng body mo. Hindi na siya tulad nung dati. Lumaki yung tiyan mo, bumigat ka. So, depression din eh. So, sabi ko nga, paano ko na gagawin to? Paano ko na babalik? Parang, ang sarap kumain pag nasa bahay ka.
Aray ko!
Ang hirap i-lose nung nawala sa'yo. So, depression na yon, di ba, Nikko? Alam mo yan, malakas ka kumain eh. Tapos, ang nangyari nito, nagtatry tayo mag-training sa bahay eh. Pero yung heart rate mo, ang taas-taas. Sabi mo, hindi naman ganito yung ginagawa ko dati. Bakit hindi ko ma-reach yung target zone? Yung zone 2 na comfortable natin, parang feeling threshold, feeling zone 4, di ba? Depression na yon para sa atin mga athlete na paano ko to ibabalik ngayon? Hindi naman ako lumalabas ng bahay. So meron din time na ginawa ko, lumabas ako ng bahay, nagbisikleta ako nung quarantine natin. So nagsuot ako ng puruntong shorts, tapos nag-helmet ako, nag-mountain bike ako, tapos naka-t-shirt lang ako, parang construction worker. Kasi ang natin, Nikko, ang duration ng workout natin, 3 hours to 4 hours, di ba? Ang bike natin. So, paano mo gagawin yun sa loob ng bahay? Ayaw mo naman mag-trainer. Nakakainip. Ako hindi ko kaya mag-trainer. So, lumabas ako. Habang lumalabas ako, yun din, depression din, dahil inisip mo baka mahuli ka dun sa kalye. So, para hindi ka mahuli, kailangan sa isang lugar, hindi ka dapat pabalik-balik dun sa kalye. Ang gagawin mo, one way ka lang, iikupin mo yung buong Metro Manila para ka makauwi ng bahay. So, iniisip mo, pag uwi mo ng bahay, baka may dala ka ng virus. So ang dami, sobrang depression talaga yung naramdaman natin itong nung home quarantine na to eh. So ayun, paano mo ibabalik yung sarili mo doon sa dati mong status nung fitness level. Yun ang naging ano sa akin, dilemma. Pero ngayon, dahan-dahan na rin kasi lumuluwag na, nakakalabas na, marami na rin nagbibisikleta sa labas, pero hindi mo pa rin mabalik 100% yung dating effort na ginagawa mo nung 2 years ago lang yun. Kung titignan mo nga yung ano minsan ang ginagawa ko nga yung Strava, binabalikan ko yung Strava Nakikita ko yung mga 2 years ago, 1 year ago na mga time difference ng mga training, tsaka yung taas nung exertion and effort na binibigay mo doon. Sobrang layo, sabi ko, 1 year ko nang ginagawa yung training, hindi pa rin bumalik yung fitness level. So, yun ang dilemma ngayon. Ang hirap bumalik for one year nating nawala. Halos 2 years kasi yung 1 year binabawi na natin So hindi pa rin ganun 100% bumalik. Mahirap. Sana maging normal na tayo lahat.
Okay. Godfather, ikaw naman.
Yeah, before I ask my question, I acknowledge lang natin muna, ang dami nagko-comment sa sa section There's Carlos Guerra, go coach. Then Alan Ascueta, experience is the best teacher. Go coach Joe Mac, salute. Then Jeffrey Tan, hello coach, miss you. There is also JR Sebastian, sorry. Ay, di. Tama. Nice one, Coach Joe. Then Ivy Tueres Mendoza, hi, Coach Joe Mac. Tapos, Coach, may tanong ako. Kilala niyo pala itong Lowell ratio na to?
Lowell ratio. Kilala ko po.
No, kaibigan ko kasi yan nagka-basketball ko. Kaya ito ang kulit.
Ako, mabait po yan.
Nako, Coach,
po yan ako. Mabait.
Sure ka, Coach?
Pagod na pagod.
Pagpagod na pagod. Oo. Kulit yan. Tapos I think Nikko, this is for you. There's a question here by Gab Ferreras. I don't know if nasagot yun na ito. Any plans for training bubbles sa New Clark City or kailan mag-start?
Yung training bubble depends on the sport that you're in. Inassign ng triathlon at duathlon sa Tagaytay. So we're starting our training bubble on July 16. Nakapako na yung date with signatories from the Federation President. So yeah, in-enjoy ko na lang yung no training camp life ko muna. But yeah, like for example, archery and fencing are in Ormoc. In Pangasinan is track and field. And Ilocos is sepak takraw. So everything's branched out the whole country of sports.
Boogeyman says, real talk, Coach Joma. Tapos, Lowell, may pahapol, galing mo raw, Coach Joma. Mukhang may atraso sa'yo to. Anyway, yung question ko, Coach Nikko, this was something we were discussing before we started. It has to do about these bikes. When the pandemic started, parang umano siya, yung parang nag-boom. It grew popular. And when I saw the prices of these bikes, they were really, well, for me, they were outrageous. Kumbaga, being a triathlete, what would be the ideal bike that one should get? Or is this a fad or is this something that really is needed? Coach, you can go first.
Sa bisikleta kasi, ang pinaka-importante lang dyan, di mo naman kailangan ng mahal na bisikleta kung di ka naman magkukumpit. And meron din naman nagkukumpit na hindi naman ganun ng mahal na bisikleta. Dadating na lang yan kung competitive ka na kasi every seconds mo kailangan mong makate. Sa bisikleta, ang lagi kong sinasabi sa mga nagtatanong sa akin, gandang helmet, bumili kayo ng importante sa helmet kasi yan magsasave sa'yo. Wag mong i-budget yung helmet na low budget. So ang bisikleta kahit na mura lang, 7,000, 5,000, basta may gulong yan, umiikot, pwede na yan. For fitness, kung gusto mo maging in ka sa pag-exercise. And isa pang sinasabi ko sa kanila na mag-invest sa saddle. Kasi yun ang pinakamatagal mong uupuan. Yung saddle. Saddle and helmet lang, sinasabi ko lang sa kanila. Pwede ka na magbisikleta.
Yun, no? So yung mga nakikinig, if you're planning to buy a bike, you heard it from Coach Jojo. How about you, Nico? Nico, I'm sure a lot of people have been asking about this. What's the good bike or what's the ideal bike to get?
Hindi, sinasabi nila, idol, powerboard ng jersey.
Alright.
Yun lagi.
Yung jersey, hindi yung bike, no?
Mostly, I just tell them na, always get the right size for the bike. Tapos, kasi the bike that you buy depends on the circle of friends that you're with. So kung circle of friends mo are road bikers, then buy a road bike. Pag mountain bike. Pero syempre, tatanungin mo, ano ba bike ni Crush? Doon ka sa Pero on a serious note, I always recommend muna aluminum, tapos second hand if you're a beginner. So sa Facebook market, nare-recommend ko for second hands, aluminum. Tapos, again, first things first, know your size so that you can break down kung ano agad yung specifications na kailangan mo. And then from that second-hand bike, then kapag gusto mo talaga and you really love the sport, that's the time you improve and buy your own dream bike talaga.
So yun nga, parang kumbaga, tingnan mo muna then before you really invest heavily. Kasi baka you're just throwing away money.
Mahal.
Pandemic, diba?
And we all know that money is hard to come by these days. All right, Vince, back to you.
Nico, na isipan mo na bang ever bumalik sa swimming? As in, competitive swimming, ha?
Full-time swimming?
Ever? Did you ever? Pumasok
Never,
sa isip mo? Never pumasok.
Buhat ng, in-invite na ako ni Coach Rick Reyes na maging part ng national team ng triathlon. Kinalimutan ko ng, solo swimming kasi naabot ko na yung childhood dreams ko maging national athlete. And triathlon gave me that, so I've put all of my commitment to that sport, 100%.
Yung yung ko-compete ka ba sa yung Subit? Will you be competing?
September 19, yes, nag-confirm na. Nag-open na ng mga slots 2 days ago for entrance. So about 15 na yata so it's gonna go up na. And kami, confirmed and required naman kami mag-compete as national athletes. So we'll be there and we'll prepare properly.
All right. Coach, so ngayon, sa mga students nyo, I'm guessing puro online yung training, yung pagturo nyo?
Hindi po. Sa akin, hands-on teaching kasi ako eh. Nagkikita-kita kami. Pero nandun pa rin social distance namin. So tuloy-tuloy na kami ngayon na nagte-training.
Okay, so kasi maraming kang estudyante. Paano mo na ma-manage lahat sila in terms of oras?
Naman sila eh. Mga dati ko naman silang student na, so meron na kami mga may relationship na kami during the mga training namin. So ngayon, may workout kami na training plan na kung hindi sila pupunta doon sa isang place na kung saan kami magte-training, susundan na lang nila sa training plan. Lahat naman sila is naka-heart rate zone sa akin. So lahat sila na field test ko nung formula nung maximum heart rate nila. So sinusundan na lang nila yung training plan. Pero meron kaming lugar kung saan kami nag-meet. Ganon. And nagre-report naman sila sa akin kung ano yung ginagawa nila.
Alright, Coach. So, kasi medyo pabalik ng sports is slowly but surely, bumabalik na tayo sa normal. Ano ngayon ang susunod na steps gagawin mo with yung mga estudyante mo?
Yung next step ko ngayon, paramihin yung mga student, paramihin ko yung balak ko na mga member at doon din sa mga upcoming races. Kasi lahat sila sabik na mag-race eh. And ito ngayon Subit, merong race sa Subit. So lahat sila siguro mga 50% nila ipinapasali ko na. Sabi ko dahil lamang na kayo kasi mas maaga kayo nag-training doon sa mga tao. Marami kasing nag-back out. Sila naman tuloy-tuloy. Kaya sabi ko nga, ditong dadating na luluwag na tayo, ang goal natin is makapag-training ng maayos at makagawa rin ng training camp. Yun ang goal namin. Kasi sabik na silang lahat kahit sa mga training camp. Kailangan ibalik na rin yun pagka lumuwag na.
Alright. Brian?
Alright, so may mga comment ulit. Maximus, hashtag Joe Mac knows. Then, Mini Beth Thomas says, Coach ko yan, Coach Joe Mac, takbo tayo bukas.
Bagong vaccine ako, pahinga.
Pahinga, no? Oh, pareho tayo, Coach. Pahinga muna tayo bukas. Anyway, my next question, ano ba yung nakalimutan ko tuloy tatanungin ko. Ay, hindi. Coach, yung kanina, and Nikko, kumbaga, what would be the best way to mag-help an individual who's really new to the sport? Where does someone start if he wants to take a triathlon? Siguro, I'll start with Nikko.
I'd start with one sport muna. If they want to do full triathlon, I'd recommend the same thing I tell myself and what I actually did. Start from one sport, whether swimming, biking, or running, and then add one sport and then do 3 sports na. So one event at a time, not one field. So compete ka muna with swimming solo and then yung mga open water swim junkie, something like that. Tapos join ka ng fun run and then do aquathlons like swim run. Kapag okay na, buy a bike with friends, and then do triathlon. Pero the best way for you to do it properly is actually spend more time with triathletes. Parang ask questions every day, and then hire a really good coach. Like Coach Joma. And you learn a lot, and mabilis yung edge about progress.
Coach Joe?
Yun din, ang recommended ko rin, pagka sinasabi ko sa kanila, pagka bago, swimming, lalo na sa adult beginner. Ang lumalapit naman kasi sa akin, karamihan adult beginner So ang hirap niyan pagdating ng swimming. So unang-una talaga is swimming muna bago gawin yung land training. Pag ang land training naman kasi madali nang i-apply So lalo na nakikita naman nila yung sarili nila pagka nandiyan sa land training. Ang swimming kasi kailangan binabantayan dahil hindi mo nakikita kung ano yung itsura mo. Yung feeling mo, ang galing-galing mo nang lumangoy pero mukha ka palang nalulunod. Ganun. So, masyado siyang technical. So, ako nga, hindi naman ako swimmer. Pero hanggang ngayon, nag-aaral pa rin ako lumangoy for 20 years na ako sa triathlon. Ang per seconds, napakahirap bago mo makuha yung 2 segundo sa 50 meters. So, swimming ang pinakamahirap. So, saka pa lang sila pumunta ng land training. Yung bike, sumama sa mga cyclists or yung mga nagbabike na food trip, karamihan dyan. Food trip tayo, bike tayo sa Antipolo. Doon siya nag-start Tapos yung iba naman ng running, night run, kasi lalo na ngayon mainit. So maraming tumatakbo ng hapon. Tapos after nila tumakbo ng hapon, kumakain dyan sa tabi-tabi kung ano yung open na restaurant. So doon lang siya nag-start muna, lalo na sa mga age grouper. So kailangan sa age grouper kasi, masaya yung training. So, hindi kailangan bigyan ng pressure kasi lahat naman sila, ginagawa lang nila yun para humaba yung buhay nila. Ganon. Mag-enjoy yung life nila. Ganon ang age grouper po. And para din sa pamilya nila, yung tawag dito, green living, parang ganon.
Would you say that triathletes have a certain edge when you try some different sports? Like yun nga, Coach kay Lowell, is a perfect example. Si Lowell is playing basketball but when he took a triathlete, became a triathlete, parang malakas daw ang kanyang resistensya at saka parang kabayo sa court. Kaya kailangan tirahin ko siya para tumigil siya.
Tapos yun, malakas siya Pero pagdating sa swimming, sabi niya, naku, maaabot ko ba yung 50 meters? Abot mo naman yan, huminto ka lang sa gitna, mag-rest ka, tapos mag-resume ka ng 25 meters, so abot mo yung 50 meters.
Does this thing give them an advantage in other sports like basketball, soccer, which requires a lot of yung mga running and things like that?
Hmm.
How about you, Nico? Do you agree?
In terms of what yung advantages of being a triathlete,
Is it useful for those who play team sports?
team sports.
Mm.
Yes, I guess in terms of endurance and more of mindset din eh.
Yeah.
Yung parang you complain less if it hurts na.
Yeah.
Kasi you're used to the whole pain of the challenge of pain of doing a workout for a long period of time. So it helps a lot talaga, mentally speaking.
Ito kanina rin tinanong ko ito kay coach, kumbaga, what can you say about families? Kasi I've heard some iba mag-asawa. Then recently I found out that pati kids nila, they're trying to get them into this to this sport. Anong take niyo doon, coach?
Ngayon kasi yung mga parent na sumali ng triathlon, yung iba gusto nilang maging champion. Siyempre, minsan hindi naman makuha yung magandang oras. Pinapa-join na nila yung mga anak nila. Yung hirap na gusto nilang marating na podium. Siguro dito sa anak, may bibigay ko na. Parang ganito mga biro-biroan eh. Pero ang totoo nun, habang bata pa, sa triathlon na nila dalhin yung anak nila sa multisport. And ngayon nga nakikita ko parang 5 years from now or how many years na lang baka may makapunta na sa atin sa Olympics. Dahil marami ng bata ngayon na nag-start. Unlike nung time nung 90s ang mga national team nasa 20 years old. Di ba Nico, Ganun nung time dati. Pero ngayon, bata pa nag-start na sila. Meron ng grassroots. Ang gagaling ng mga bata nga natin ngayon para silang mga adult na pag nakita mo silang nag-race. So sila rin yung nag-encourage sa mga parents na yung anak nila sana maging ganoon, makita nila, makapanood yung mga anak nila na makita nila someday yung anak nila na ganun din ang ginagawa sa multisport.
How about you?
How
about you, Nico? Have you ever had that, your friends or
And encourage yung mga anak nila na multisport? Yeah, I've seen. And it's a very challenging thing to do. On my part, I don't know. Kasi I was never forced to do sports by my parents. Basta do it lang eh. So it comes naturally yung grit because you want it so bad as a kid. And it was my salvation. Para it makes me happy. It's like playing video games, diba? And for these kids, it may come to a point kasi na baka it might be work na. So, I guess for the parents, siguro na lang, balansein lang na it's still fun for the kid to do. Para longevity. Kasi may mga Iron Kids tayo, pagkatapos sila mag-compete sa Iron Kids, by that time po tumutong sila ng 18, hindi na sila nagta-triathlon. Kasi nasobrahan.
Sobrahan.
Oh, yun nga. Thank you. Vince, back to you.
Nico, will you, you're competing sa Subit. Are you competing in Hanoi? Will you be joining?
Hopefully. We'll have to check, sir. Depends on yung qualifying rounds. Ako, I take it one competition at a time. So, if maganda performance ko sa September, hopefully they'll recommend me for a race in October, November, and then on the spot sa selection, December. If matuloy sa December. Kasi if ma-move sa March, it's a different story.
So, did you, you didn't, correct me if I'm wrong, hindi ka nag-compete nung 2019, di ba? So parang medyo comeback. This is a comeback of sorts for you. Okay.
Sana it's a good comeback. But ako, I don't want to worry too much. Sumakit na naman ulo ko.
Okay, and then another question, Nico. After after it's all said and done, will you consider going coaching or training just like Coach Joma?
Definitely. I'll definitely be part of the federation. Whether they appoint me as a assistant coach as a start, then build my way if I can be a elite head coach or move to the executive section like managing the athletes, sponsors to fund our national team. It depends siguro on my specialty, but I'll definitely be part of the federation. It's my vocation to give back to the organization that made me who I am today. Or maybe, who knows, diba? Baka Philippine Sports Commission. We go wide. We go nationwide.
All right. Coach, sa mga estudyante mo, meron bang dumaan sa same story mo, same experience? Kahit hindi same, yung maraming pinagdaanan and then natulungan mo tapos ngayon in shape na siya, fit na and then nananalo ng races. May ganun ba?
Yes, yes. Marami sa kanila. Kasi karamihan naman sa kanila, mga businessman eh. Yung iba, sobrang ng depression sa business. So, marami na akong natulungan at yung iba nasa competitive na nga sa age group nila eh. At ang laki din ng pinagbago nung physique nila. So, ang layo dun sa dati nilang mga itsura. And gumanda rin yung health nila. Yung iba, yung mga nagme-maintenance, hindi na nga nila ininom yung mga maintenance nila eh. So, ang benefits nung triathlons, nagiging maganda yung buhay, nagiging mas close yung family, and maaga natutulog. Dati raw, hindi sila natutulog ng maaga kasi lagi nasa labas. Ngayon, puro ang ginagawa nila nagte-training. So sa gabi, tulog na yan. Tapos excited sila para gumising ng maaga para mag-training. Dahil hindi naman nila nagawa yun ng buong buhay nila eh. Ngayon lang sila nakaranas ng parang athlete ang pakiramdam. So ngayon nila na-enjoy yung pagiging triathlete nila. So maraming mas sa akin mas 95% yung gumanda yung buhay nila, yung pakiramdam, yung family, yung mga nabago sa buhay nila. Ay mga 95%.
Pero coach, sa lahat ng mga kwento na yon, meron ka bang masisingle out na special or yung talagang malapit sa'yo na storya?
Sir Vince, madami. Hindi ko naman mabanggit yung iba kasi yung iba bulong lang eh na naging ganito ako noon, coach. Kailangan mo naman akong tulungan. Kung ano yung naging karanasan ko noon, na-share ko rin sa kanila na naging maganda naman din sa akin na naranasan ko yung experience na yun. And ako rin nag-guide sa kanila kung paano baguhin yung sarili at paano mapunta dun sa gusto nilang gawin. Laking tulong.
All right, Coach Godfather.
I just wanted to ask both Coach Jojo and Nikko, being with different sports, I'm sure you had your share of injuries during the course of competitions. I just like to ask, what was the worst injury you had to deal with, if you can still remember? Siguro, Coach Jojo.
Ang injury ko lang naman nung sa triathlon, sa bisikleta, nung saan natumba ko, nagkaroon ako ng fracture. At isip ko, syempre, hindi na ako makakabalik dahil ang hirap. Dahil nga, inisip ko yung dati kong buhay na ang taba ko, baka bumalik na naman ako sa ganun. Pero hindi na pala, hindi ka na babalik doon. Once na na-reach mo na yung goal mo, hindi ka na babalik doon. So, yun yung pinaka-worst sa akin na hindi na ako makabalik, yun ang iniisip ko. Parang nightmare yun. And hindi naman nangyari.
How about you, Nikko?
Thankfully, same with Coach na. Wala naman ako naging super major injury. Minor surgery sa kaliwang kamay ko. Kaya hindi ako naka-perform sa swim for about 6 months. It was okay. Parang yung downtime, I used it naman to pursue other stuff muna while I took a step back. Parang kumbaga reflection muna time.
um, Vince, back to you muna. I forgot. I'm trying to recall my question. Nakalimutan ko. Sorry.
Nico, since 2017, no, kasi I mean, aside from the two SEA Games gold medals, you're also a student of the sport. Dun sa time na you've been, shall I say, parang out of the limelight since 2017, no? What have you done to parang grow as a student of the sport? Did you look into yung mga bagong trends sa triathlon, yung what other triathletes are doing in other countries, ano yung mga bagong methods, bagong strategies?
I actually like that line, student of the sport, and totally agree on that. Kasi parang there's a never-ending quest for perfection and improvement on whichever sport we do. Kaya it's always exciting on how we can improve better. Especially as Filipino triathletes, ang laki ng potential natin. And from what I've seen, a lot plays in sleep. We took sleep for granted. And the thing is, it affects the testosterone levels ng mga katawan natin. And I've learned how to use these sleeps and different factors to my progress. I'm an advocate of it, of yung development. So somebody asked me once, how do I believe in science in sport? I say 50% effort, pero 50% science na. And yung improvements nowadays apply especially in the world-class level of competition kasi marginal differences na nag-iiba between a silver medal from a champion.
Pero have you, yung sa training mo, since you started with triathlon, nag-ano ka ba? Nasubukan mo na ba mag-cross-train sa ibang sport?
Yes. For one, strength and conditioning binagdag namin. Like sa gym, kahit 1 hour lang once every week. Nag-plyometrics kami back in Portugal for a couple of months. And then, yung blood testing. Blood/saliva testing. Naging crucial yan kasi we had to evaluate kung ano mga kinakain namin that would be beneficial for us. So, by genetics, alam mo agad kung ano lang pwede sa'yo at ano yung bawal sa'yo.
Alright. Coach, same question kay Nikko. Yung nga, kayo rin estudyante din kayo, aside from teacher kayo nung sport, kayo rin ay estudyante. Ano yung mga, mula nung nag-umpisa yung pandemic or even before, yung ginagawa nyo para mataas ang antas nyo ng pagtuturo nyo, yung tumaas ang kaalaman nyo para ito ay maipasa nyo sa mga estudyante nyo?
So hanggang ngayon naman, never stop learning So, nagbubuklat pa rin ako ng libro, nagbabasa, tumitingin din sa mga YouTube. Dahil nakikinig din ako sa mga tao. Lalo na merong nag-open up sa akin. Let's say na, mas maganda to, ba't hindi mo subukan? So good listener din ako kasi yun ang pinaka-importante. Kailangan makinig ka. Hindi lahat ng bagay na alam mo pwede mong i-apply sa kanila. So marami pa rin ngayon, nag-aaral pa rin ako, tumitingin sa internet, learning. Hindi ko pa rin sinasara yung sarili ko para na hanggang dyan na lang yung pagko-coaching ko, na hanggang dito na lang ba yung ituturo ko para sa kanila. So kailangan mo pa rin buksan yung isip mo para mas lumawak pa siya. Kung ano pa yung mga method na pwede mo ituro sa kanila. Hindi natatapos ang ang triathlon Nandyan yung sprint distance, nandyan yung hanggang pumunta sila sa Ironman. Hindi mo naman pwedeng yung training lang paulit-ulit So kailangan mong gumawa ng iba-ibang method, iba-ibang workout, gawa ka ng mga bagong workout para may apply mo dun sa kanila. Sobrang ang dami ang triathlon kasi is very technical Hindi lang siya isang sport. 3 sport siya pero gagawin mo lang siya ng isang sport. So paano mo i-average, i-manage yung 3 sport na yon na gagawin mong isa lang para makuha mo yung tamang planning. So ganun siya. So hindi natatapos. Para sa akin, hindi natatapos yung stop learning.
Alright. Sige, last two questions for Nico. If kasi before we went online, before we went on air, may kinakwento ka sa amin. Would you mind telling us how that day of yours went?
Come again, sir?
Yung before we went on air, Nico, may kwento ka sa akin you about your work with the military and you got home at a certain time. Would you mind telling us how that day went?
Yeah, so came from Giwan Island. So we had to wake up at 3 a.m. to drive all the way back to Tacloban for our flight ng 8. Then after I arrived back sa Manila, immediately dumiretso ako sa military graduation. So after that, wala pa ako uniform nun. So I had to make some calls para ipadala yung military uniform ko from Las Piñas to the base. And then, yun, I ran some errands pa, lunch meetings, and then yun, up to here. So it was a typical day of pagod.
Okay.
Kaya pa sa training, no?
Ang laking bagay ng pagiging triathlete. I swear to God. Being a triathlete makes you know how to balance all errands. Kasi you learn how to juggle everything.
Okay. Eto, Bri, last question ko na kay Nico ito bago nyo tayo ay mag-inuman. Yung work mo with the military, yung going out and you mentioned also charity work that you've been doing. How has this been good for you, for your mental health as a triathlete? Can you tell us how has yung mga experience na yan been good for you mentally?
Super. As in, it came to a point talaga na parang, this could be my next career. The military or charity work, having a foundation or government service. Kasi the fact that I'm there for free, I'm willing to do it for free means parang maybe this is my calling. And it feels it's such an honorable job to do this. And ang laking effect niya on a mental aspect as a triathlete and as a person in general, not just a triathlete, sir. And it's also my vacation to encourage a lot of people to pursuing charity work from time to time. Because yung blessings coming tenfold in return. And you get to see what's out there. And it puts some balance on your daily busy life. Kasi pre-pandemic, we're always on a rat race. Busy time, busy life, running deadlines. And the pandemic got us, going back to basics. The fundamentals of finances. Pag walang party, where do we go? What do we do? Diba? Kapag low ka na in finances, wala ka ng trabaho, how do you respond? And diba? When you lost a job that you love, like for us, triathlon, na wala yung mga competitions, it challenges you. What are you gonna do now? Doon magkakaalaman yung true character. And it's a beautiful journey. And parang no regrets ako. It was a productive pandemic for me. Thank you.
All right, Brian.
All right, my last two questions. Ito yung kaninang nakalimutan ko. How important is dieting and the proper nutrition for a triathlete? I'll start with Nikko.
Well, drinking alcohol is part of the diet, di ba?
I knew you were gonna say that.
The longer the distance, the more crucial diet is. Kasi you'll be needing more nutrition as you get along the whole workout. Lalo na kapag full Ironman, alam ni Coach Jomac yan na parang with sugars, how do you balance out taking sugars, taking carbs, and taking protein? So it's not just about eating right, but understanding each nutrient and what it does to your body. So medyo nagiging doktor ka na.
Yeah.
Ganun talaga. Akala ko, nagiging doktor na kami dito Bakit inaaral namin to? Kasi when we were kids, sinasabi lang sa amin, huwag ka mag-tsokolate, masama yan. Ganun lang, kasi magkaka-diabetes ka. But you learn how to use sugars at the right place at the right time. When it really matters. And it's actually a make or break for you to win a competition. Kapag nag-take ka ng chocolates or sugars at the wrong time, you can lose the competition. But if you perfect and time it properly based on the nutrient understanding of how you take it, you can win a gold medal with that. So diet matters kasi para siyang parang nasa jetpack mo yan para to go fast eh. So it matters a lot talaga. And I've realized living the sport kasi noong 2014, I was threatened to be taken out of the Asian Games lineup kasi I was very fat. Kasi tabain ako eh. Real talk, di ko ito makakalimutan. Sa Portugal for 1 month, umiyak ako dahil pinapabawas na ako ng kain. Ang sarap ng pagkain sa Europe. Yung mga cheese nila, oh my gosh, pati yung bread. And eventually, I've learned how to understand how to eat properly. Okay lang sarap ng pagkain. It's more of portion control. Kasi people misunderstand diet. And nakaka-insecure minsan kasi parang diet, all vegan ba ganun? But it's not. It's just the way how to summarize diet for a triathlete or an athlete is the same thing how a human being should eat. The same diet. You just focus on eating the natural nutrients, the natural food, whole foods, and less artificial. It's not that hard and complicated. So, yun po. Based on my experience, it's not that complex.
Okay. How about you, Coach?
O yun, wala na akong masabi kasi nasabi na ni Nikko lahat yung nutrition eh. So sa akin naman, ang dapat paghandaan mo, ano yung workout mo tomorrow. Kasi kailangan paghandaan mo kung ano yung training mo tomorrow. Hindi naman pwedeng ang workout ko bukas maigsi lang pero kakain ako na madami. So paano mo naman siya gagamitin? Di ba baka sa next day mo pa yun magamit. So bantayan mo lang lahat nung gagawin mo for the next day at doon mo lang i-apply yung tamang kakainin mo. And nutrition, lahat naman nasabi na ni Nikko ngayon eh. And timing din nung tamang pagpasok ng nutrition kasi minsan nawala ka sa timing no, lalo na sa mga long distance. Pagka napunta ka na sa red line level yung nutrition mo, kahit ano pang isaksak mo dyan, hindi na niya magagamit kasi wala na siya sa timing. So timing din yung nutrition. So kaya yung iba naman, panic loading for the race day na, kailangan ko to kasi race ko na ngayon. Kailangan ko to. Kailangan ko inumin. Ano yung iniinom mo? Baka kailangan ko yan, bigyan mo ako. So wala nang ganun. Kung ano yung ginagawa mo na everyday, na ritual mo, yun na lang na. Mas better pa nga kasi yung masobrahan ka dun sa timing ng nutrition mo. Kasi minsan hindi mo naman siya magamit, no? Ilalabas mo lang siya lahat. Minsan nagde-develop ng gas dun sa tiyan. So maging dahilan pa siya nung hindi mo natapos yung karera. So malaking bagay yung nutrition.
Talaga. I guess for every sport, all sports naman, ganun talaga no? Pero sa inyo kasi iba parang you're talking about different sports. Okay, for my last question, I'm sure this is equally important. How important is being mentally prepared before you start a competition for a triathlete? Coach, you first.
Oo. Mentally prepared ka dahil sa race day, no? Nag-iiba yung panahon. Kunyari, ngayong araw na to, hindi naman siya mainit, pero the next day, bukas, iba. Kasi ang triathlon, nag-iiba siya ng environment. So hindi yan tulad ng parang sa swimming pool lang, isa lang ang direksyon ng tubig, stagnant, nandiyan lang siya. Pero ang triathlon, nag-iiba siya ng environment every day. So kailangan mentally, pagpunta mo pa lang sa race day, i-check mo na yung paligid mo, yung environment, tignan mo yung init, then kung ano yung magiging init ng panahon, i-check mo rin. Kasi pwedeng magdagdag ka ng nutrition mo doon sa mga electrolyte na pwede mo idagdag. And i-check mo rin yung condition ng water, yung open water, kung maalon ba siya ngayon dahil kahapon hindi naman siya maalon. Pero pag tingin nyo ngayon, ang lakas ng wave. So nag-iiba yung planning and mentally dapat prepared ka kasi maraming pwedeng mangyari on the race day. And sa race, walang perfect race. Minsan, perfect mo yung training day mo pero pagdating ng race day mo, doon pa lang siya hindi pumasok yung pinaka ano ng competition mo, yung 100% mo. So mentally ka dapat is prepared. So ang laki nung nagmamatter talaga yan.
How about you, Nico?
Yes. Like what I mentioned kanina about preparing for competition, paglaban na talaga, 90% mental talaga. And sa ganung paraan, it's mostly self-talk for me. You try not to compare yourself to others. And it's more of how do you handle your demons inside kapag malapit na yung laban. Most of the time, you get influenced na naman kapag kapag marami ka na nakakausap. Pero kapag ano siya, sorry, nandito ako. Kapag on that day na, doon mo na ma-re-evaluate.
All right. Okay, that's it for me, Vince.
Okay, we have a few minutes left, no? Let's get some final words from our guest, Nikko. Go first.
Yes, thank you so much for having us here ni Coach Jomac. And thank you for supporting Philippine Triathlon. I believe that the sport talaga makes you a better person. Not just as an athlete, but also a person that can handle failures. You become more, how do I say this? Enduring. Emotionally enduring, physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual, which you can apply in your daily lives with your relationships, with your work, with your friends. That's why whenever we were asked, what is triathlon? Is it a 3-discipline sport? It's not. It's a 6-discipline sport. Swim, bike, run, family, work, relationships. And all throughout how you balance it as you live your daily life, you learn how to parang distribute it properly and everything wins. Life becomes more fun. Thank you.
Coach?
Yan. Thank you pa sa pag-invite nyo sa akin dito, sa amin ni Nikko. And ang triathlon naman, lagi lang natin gawin siyang masaya kasi sa long term kung competitive ka sa ngayon, pagdating ng araw gusto mo lang din mag-coach or gusto mong ituloy yung race, yung multisport dahil lifetime na rin to. So, kailangan din i-balance. So, yung pagbabalanse nga niyan it's a lifetime experience. So, nandyan yung family natin na kailangan din natin tignan. So, balance yung pinaka-importante dito sa multisport. And mahirap siya, pero kailangan mag-enjoy.
Godfather?
Well, thank you, Vince, for inviting me to join you today. And thank you, Coach Jomac and Nico. It was really a fun interview. And ang daming hugot ni Nico. Ang sarap gawing parang life lessons yung mga narinig ko kay Nico A lot of good quotes, parang ang sarap gawing graphics. Thank you so much. I really had fun and it was very educational, especially considering medyo tagal ako hindi nakapag-cover ng triathlon. It was a pleasure talking to the two of you.
Okay. Nico, thanks for your time. Thank you. Coach Jomac, salamat din sa oras mo. And that caps off another episode of Sports for All, mga kaibigan. Next weekend, ang guest natin ay si Dan Abrams, who's a sports psychologist from the UK. And Saturday night, si Taylor Statham, who's a basketball trainer from the US naman. So on that note, good night everyone. And sa lahat sa mga tatay dyan, ama ng ating mga tahanan, Happy Father's Day bukas.
Yeah. Father's Day.
All the dads and fathers in your families, respective families, Happy Father's Day. So good night everyone. So long.
Good night. Maraming salamat, Brian and Vince. Thank you. Nico.
Thank you, Coach. Pahinga na tayo, Coach. Kaka-jump lang natin.
Pahinga ka na.
Night, everybody.
Coach.
Bye. Thank you.